trying to
never
see,
gets old.
Never
gets
changes. I asked him about that the other day. He said Hall of Famers wear suits and ties, guys he looked up to. And his Missouri Tigers with the same starting five as they put out there on Friday night in that win over Howard, facing Eastern Washington, looking for their second win in a row. And a turnover on the first Mizzou possession. There's Cook with the steal. Cook leads the way for a revamped roster. Of course, Eastern Washington, Big Sky regular season champions a year ago, but their head coach went to Washington State, took 4 of the top 5 scorers from a year ago with him, and the 5th guy graduated.
Yeah, 15 new guys on the roster, only 2 kids played over 20 minutes and won a Division I game. So this is a whole new nucleus and a whole new look for Eastern Michigan under Dan Munson.
And they are off to a 2-0 lead. Tony Perkins getting the start at point guard for Missouri. On with Gray, Mitchell, Boateng, the freshman, gets his second straight start. And Tamar Bates for Missouri. Again, the same 5 they had in their first win of the season on Friday night, but that's back-to-back turnovers to start the game for Missouri. Pump fake by Mason Williams, now out for a 3-pointer, and that drops for Emmett Marquardt. And this is the complete opposite of the start Missouri had their last time out when they began the game on an 8-0 run.
Yeah, you never want to start a game with back-to-back turnovers.
Tamar Bates off the mark from 3. Josh Gray crashed the glass, and it goes out off of Eastern Washington.
And this is a great shot fake and drive and kick by Williams to find the shooter. Get Mark Mitchell off his feet there. Josh Gray. And a spot up 3 right there for Marquardt.
Career high 14 points last time out for Marquardt. Missouri moving the ball quickly off the inbound. Boateng thought about it. Mid-range pull-up goes down.
Pretty shot there from Boateng. On balance, too. Shot fake, 1 dribble pull-up. Good ball movement there from Missouri, moving the ball both sides of the floor, getting a good shot.
Got the start. Looked really good the first few minutes. Only played 8.5 minutes against Howard, but looked good when he was out there. Here's Cook driving, gets to the bucket.
That can't happen right there. There's got to be a plug in the gap from the weak side to help Tamar Bates there.
Eastern Washington 3 for their first 3. Out to a 7-2 lead. Tamar Bates, second year in a Tiger uniform, to his good friend, Mark Mitchell. Mitchell driving kick. Perkins for 3. And in and out. A Missouri team that was 3 for 22 from beyond the arc last game. More outside struggles.
It's a good look, too, from Tony Perkins. A really good drive by Mark Mitchell.
Nick McLean on the drive, has it stolen away. Missouri wants to run. They were good in transition against Howard. Spinning to the hoop is Bates, and he draws a foul. That's another thing Missouri was good at last Friday night, getting to the line.
Yeah, they always want to play with pace. With Dennis Gates, they want to push the ball in transition, especially off a missed shot or a turnover. And right there, good job of Missouri pushing the ball ahead. And Tamar Bates, what you really want to see from this veteran experienced guard is attacking, being aggressive, getting downhill. Obviously a tremendous free throw shooter, but really good with that first step to create space and create an angle to try to get to the rim and create contact.
And so he will go to the line. Missouri was great at the foul line against Howard. Bates hits the first. He was 2 for 2 from the line against the Bison. And he is one of the best free throw shooters in America during his college career.
Yeah, first in Mizzou program history, too, in free throw percentage after last season, topping Brian Grauer, I know, was watching tonight, who had the record prior to Tamar Bates.
Tamar would like to see some Grauer-esque three-point shooting in this ball game. He's 2 for 2 at the line.
Brian Grauer ahead of his time as a modern-day point guard. Toughest guards in Mizzou program history, too.
Well, he and Clarence Gilbert could fill it up, couldn't they?
Absolutely.
Looked down low and looked like a turnover, but instead they call a foul on Tamar Bates. Missouri bench doesn't like that call. Over on the Eastern Washington bench, it's Dan Monson, longtime head coach at the Division I level. Most recently, the all-time winningest coach at Long Beach State. They decided to part ways at the end of the last season, and Monson went back to where his career started. He grew up in that area and was the head coach at Gonzaga over 20 years ago. 5-second call on Eastern Washington.
Yeah, Coach Munson, too, 27 years of head coaching experience, but 41 years in the coaching profession. Had stops at Minnesota and Gonzaga, like you said, Ben. But all-time winningest coach at Long Beach Beach State over 17 years. Also had experience with Team USA back in the early 2000s, so a ton of coaching experience. Has coached a lot of players, developed a lot of players as well. It's a very good hire here for Eastern Washington to add that type of experience and that type of winning to their culture. 4
NCAA tournament appearances, including last year. You may remember he was the coach that kind of went viral because Long Beach State made the decision to part ways with him well before the season ended. And then his Long Beach State crew got hot, won their conference tournament, and went to NCAAs with a lame duck coach.
Yep. And you look at, too, just the way his players responded in that moment says a lot about the head coach, how hard they played, how they wanted it so badly for their head coach. It just speaks to the impact that he made on those players.
Eagles got a timeout call in before the 5-second call, so they've retained the possession and knocked down a 3. It's Cook's first bucket of the night.
That's a great find and a great pass there, too, from Williams, seeing the skip pass in the open 3.
6-point advantage, 2 for 2 from the outside for Eastern Washington. Missouri's going to have to respond here. Perkins, baseline drive, gets cut off. That's Sam Stockton, the son of the Hall of Famer John Stockton, guarding him. What an aggressive move to the basket, but Mark Mitchell couldn't get it to fall.
See his athleticism, but just didn't finish. Too much standing right now for Missouri on offense. They're moving the ball around the perimeter, but they're not getting the ball to the paint.
That's the opposite of the plus 22 they were in the paint on Friday. What a look there at Cook with the finish. An absolute dime by Williams. Cook on the other end, and a timeout by Missouri.
It's the right timeout, too, here from Dennis Gates. Too easy right here for Eastern Washington.
Eagles in control in the first 3.5 minutes. It's 12-4 Eastern Washington. Missouri's a little stunned. A little bit of everything from Eastern Washington's Andrew Cook in the first few minutes.
Yeah, we highlighted Andrew Cook's scoring to start this game, but defensively at 3 steals their last time out. He's a very smart, intellectual basketball player, something Dan Munson talked a lot about. He's a 6'3" guard that can shoot it. You see that stroke right there, really shoot the ball, but a smart player that brings that experience. Not a great athlete, but really good physically and has great instinctual traits. Jump in that passing lane, great sign of what he brings to both sides of the floor.
7 of Eastern Washington's first 12 points. He's an NAIA transfer from Carroll College. And, experience is experience. And you're going to lean on that when you have as much turnover as Dan Monson had to do. I mean, he comes in as the new head coach. He's got to completely rebuild the roster in one offseason. You got a guy with 4 years of experience. Give it to him and see what happens, and it's good stuff so far for Eastern Washington.
And you see, those percentages, the splits that he had at his last stop. He's shooting over 50% from the field and shooting over 50% from 3. A very efficient basketball player. We talk about the IQ, but his ability to make shots, be efficient, takes smart shots, the right shot, doesn't force, really plays under control at his own pace.
Missouri brings in Anthony Robinson, Aiden Shaw, and Caleb Grill. Try and turn things around. But here's what you were talking about, Jarrett. We're down to 10 on the shot clock. Missouri has not been able to get close to the basket. There's Shaw in the middle, and that rims out. Grill is Johnny on the spot and draws a foul.
Caleb Grill, that's what he does, is rebound the basketball for a guard. Something he's done a lot in his career, but I do love the adjustment from Eastern Washington out of the timeout to go to a 2-3 zone. Missouri's back on their heels, a little bit in a funk, trying to find a rhythm on offense. That one just rims out, but Caleb Grill crashing that glass, not boxed out. Caleb, a good athlete, strong guard, able to get that offensive rebound, get to the free throw line.
Grill hits the first. Missouri head coach Dennis Gates much more pleased with his team's free throw shooting game 2 as opposed to game 1.
We talked a lot about just the free throw shooting, have to convert at the line, but you also see Missouri through their first 2 games. They're at their best in transition. They average 15 seconds per offensive possession. They really want to get out and run, force chaos defensively, get out, push the ball, get in transition, and try to make it easier on yourself on offense.
They almost got a turnover there. It'll stay with Eastern Washington, who just brought in Jackson Seal.
Look at the discrepancy, too. Missouri 16 of 25 at the line against Memphis, but 23 of 29 against Howard. Much better shooting at the free throw line, as well as points off turnovers, fast break points, and that bench points. Very important for Missouri this season. The depth they have, they got to score on the bench.
Cook from way out left that one short. Long rebound to Anthony Robinson. Missouri pushing tempo.
how good has Anthony Robinson been for Missouri through these first 2 games, coming off the bench tonight, hopefully giving Missouri some juice here.
He's been good at attacking the basket, drives the baseline there and draws a foul on Nick McClain. And now a little extracurricular under the basket.
Important for Missouri too, 6 points right here through about 4.5 minutes. But really stagnant on offense, and a lot of that is just Eastern Washington being a little bit more the aggressor, particularly defensively.
And there was McClain and Robinson, the pair on that last foul.
Note this, Anthony Robinson will not back down from much. That Chicago guard toughness.
He looks a lot stronger and more mature here as a sophomore, doesn't he?
Absolutely. It's a big part of his development in the offseason, but just think too, Shawnee is such a great player here last season for Missouri, but really forced kind of Anthony Robinson off the ball, and you've seen Anthony being able to play the point more. That's his natural position. More and more comfortable within this offense here this second season.
Talon McClain was his first, the team's third, and there's the first basket tonight for Mark Mitchell.
And Ben, that should be all night. If they're going to play that one-on-one, Mark Mitchell on the post, Mark Mitchell can just go to work and eat on the block.
Missouri's got the size advantage across the board, much like the Howard game.
This is what Anthony Robinson does right here too, man. Just get after the ball, heat up the basketball, create that pressure.
Missouri switches. Williams on the drive out to Hartman, rotated to Cook, and now he'll go against Shaw, and Shaw makes it really tough on Cook, who turns it over.
Big time defense by Aiden Shaw. Ben, how many times have we watched a Missouri game and we've always said Aiden Shaw can be in a basketball game by his energy, his effort, his athleticism. He does so many things that can impact winning that isn't scoring. And you saw right there that defensive versatility to switch, active hands, active feet, gets a deflection, and forces the turnover. It's excellent defense by Aiden Shaw.
That's why he was one of 3 Tigers who were plus 14 on Friday night. Got the ball in his hands here. It's Perkins to reset things. You asked me before the game what would happen if Perkins and Robinson played at the same time.
That's right.
We're seeing it right now.
Yeah, I think something Dennis Gates wanted to see, how these 2 guards can play off of each other.
And now there's Mitchell again going to the basket and going to the line where he was 8 for 8 last game out.
Yeah, that's the right call again, Dennis Gates. Same play call right there. Try to establish Mark Mitchell on that low block. He's a little bit low, but he's so quick. He's got great hip flexibility to be able to get low and drive off that low block. He can go both directions too. He's a left-handed player, but he's comfortable going both ways.
Non-shooting foul, but that's a 3-pointer from the corner for Caleb Grill.
How good is that for Mizzou fans to see? Caleb Grill lacing up a 3-point shot out of a baseline out of bounds set. Great find, corner spot up, shot ready off the catch for Caleb Grill.
And now a steal and a run out and a 5-0 run from Caleb Grill, who is fired up.
There's that athleticism from Caleb Grill. He is fired up, hits a 3, and then in defensive transition, able to get in the passing lane, jump that passing lane, showing his athleticism, and man, going to play above the rim.
Just like that, Missouri's got their first lead. Seal had it, lost it, and looks like it'll stay with Eastern Washington.
Then the energy in this building is picked up by the bench, and Caleb Grill jumping that passing lane. Anthony Robinson has come in, giving this team a little bit of lift. Aiden Shaw. That's a big-time finish. And Caleb Grill, perfect timing, too, to take off when he did. The defenders come in to slap that ball away. He protects the ball by taking off a little bit earlier, timing that up and getting the ball above his shoulders quickly. That athleticism and explosion to the rim to finish.
Missouri's on a 9-0 run, 5 of those points from Grill. Seal on a nice inbound, but can't convert. Shaw flies in for the rebound.
That's right, Aiden Shaw needs to live. Crash that glass, use your athleticism, and go get the ball.
Mitchell double-teamed. Good ball movement, Grill an open look, in and out. But poked away there by Robinson.
Great set by Missouri too, Ben. Post feed, and they swing the ball and get an open 3.
McClain can't get it to go. Got fouled on the bump. That goes against Perkins. And only 2 team fouls on Missouri in the early going.
This is how we look at Missouri too, like early on not being able to get the ball movement going and really trying to establish the ball in the low block. Right there, an easy call on Tony Perkins just with the body.
And on the inbound, Anthony Robinson fouled by McClain. So those 2 get into each other's orbit for a second time, and they've both been fouls on McClain.
It's a great sign right here from Missouri with Anthony Robinson, Shaw, and Grill. 3 guys coming off the bench and have already made an impact in different ways on both ends of the floor to really bring some juice to this game and some life to Missouri, who were really in a funk through those first few minutes.
could be a blow to Eastern Washington as McLean has to go to the bench. He's one of those experienced JUCO transfer guys.
Yep. One of their most consistent players, too, then. Very explosive, plays both ends, their best defender, maybe their most valuable. Dan Munson talked a lot about him and about the importance of him on the floor. So big call, guy that impacts the game as well outside of scoring.
Perkins faces up at the line. There's Mitchell one-on-one in the paint, and he gets it to go.
Great play call, too. That time giving Mark Mitchell a screen, get him some space to flash to the paint there and catch and finish. Great footwork by Mark Mitchell.
See if Missouri keeps going back to him. It doesn't look like Eastern Washington has anybody that can guard him in the paint. Active hands, might have forced another turnover. I don't want to stay with Eastern Washington.
One of the things, too, Ben, when you talk about a Dennis Gates style and system and program, very similar to Mike Anderson. And look, you want to create steals and you want to create pressure, but deflections matter. They're so important. You get those deflections. Even if you don't come up with a turnover, it's a dead ball. You set your defense. It shows your activity and energy defensively when you can have those active hands, high hands.
A lot of length on the floor for Missouri right now with Shaw, Robinson, and Mitchell. Corner three goes down. What a huge shot for Mason Williams in Eastern Washington.
Yeah, it was a good closeout, too, in rotation from Caleb Grill. But big shot from Mason Williams. Mason Williams, very talented guy coming back from injury and really trying to find himself offensively.
Eastern Washington's 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. Robinson, the drive, aggressive take, and draws a foul. He did that a lot in the first 2 games of the season.
And it's an evolution to Anthony Robinson. Didn't see a lot of that last year. A lot of his role was really guarding the ball, defending, creating steals. But he's more comfortable off the bounce and just making plays. He is a playmaker and able to attack. Right here, good ball swing from Eastern Washington. Getting corner 3, good ball movement. And in rotation, Caleb Grill just a little late in that closeout.
Robinson gets the first one to go. 75% foul shooter as a freshman last year. As Mason Williams continues to keep Eastern Washington in this game. That was his first 3. But the 3-point shot, it was the equalizer in the Howard game, and it has been so far tonight.
Yeah, really for Missouri, with the 3-point shooting, you got to still stay confident, but continue to shoot the right shots. Don't force those shots. And in a game like this, what we're seeing, too, the adjustment that Dennis Gates has made is let's throw the ball inside. Let's establish the low block. Let's get back to trying to establish the paint and then work the ball out and kick it around, see if you can get an open spot up.
Mark Mitchell to the bench, one of the freshmen from that top 5 ranked recruiting class. Peyton Marshall is in the middle for Missouri now.
Missouri does here defensively. Looks like a little matchup, 1-3-1 into a 2-3.
First touch tonight for Elijah Thomas off the bench. Same for Tyler Powell. It's swung around to Williams, and he can't get back-to-back threes to go. And look at Robinson battle in there, and he drew a foul.
It's good to see it, too. That was a tough miss on a defensive box out on the weak side. Ball doesn't hit the rim cleanly, so kind of a tough carom. Anthony Robinson able to stay with the play, and again, using his length. Anthony Robinson's got a long wingspan. He'll just get his hand in there, and that creates a foul.
And that's already the 7th team foul on Eastern Washington, so a 1-and-1 for Missouri. And Robinson will get a second. Mizzou great at the line last season, and under Dennis Gates, they've been one of the best foul shooting teams in the country.
Yeah, it's something you see right there from Anthony Robinson. It's a different free throw routine just with his technique. He kind of comes set, really able to get his hand right above his eye, right above his ear.
His own miss and almost got it.
But his stroke looks so much more pure and defined. Got that elbow in and more compact, high release point too. It's softer on that free throw shot.
Guy's got a motor, I'll tell you what.
Oh man, plays hard every possession. It's one thing he has done since he's put on a Missouri uniform last year. Every possession he's out there, he's giving everything he's got.
Down to 4 to shoot. This zone for Missouri really slowing things down. Marquardt, that might have been altered on the closeout by Robinson.
It's a great closeout.
3-point game. Missouri's responded after falling behind early. There's a foul on Marshall. And that will take us to the next break. Energy and intensity from Caleb Grill. Missed most of last season, but he's bringing it here tonight at Mizzou Arena, Sut.
Caleb Grill out healthy, dunking the ball. Missouri up 3 here early first half.
Hey, this week, Week 12, SEC Network football. The lineup begins Saturday at 12:45 Eastern, 11:45 Central, with Auburn hosting Louisiana Monroe. Then 3:15 Central, 4:15 Eastern, 24th-ranked Missouri on the road at South Carolina. Capped off with the night game, 14th-ranked Texas A&M hosting New Mexico State. It's all Saturday on the SEC Network and streaming on the ESPN app. Well, I tell you what, if that Missouri-South Carolina game is half as interesting as the Missouri-Oklahoma game.
Man,
this last Saturday on the SEC Network.
What a night. What a night. Got to tip your cap to Drew Pine, right? I mean,
yeah.
Wow. What a second half. What a game, too. That fourth quarter was just wild, and Missouri's able to get a big win against former Big 12 foe Oklahoma. I had flashbacks to when I was in college with carrying the goalposts off the field.
Former Big 6, Big 7, Big 8, Big 12. They were charter members of that conference,
sir.
Missouri and Oklahoma.
Sir.
And now in the SEC, and I believe that's the fourth win of my lifetime for Missouri over Oklahoma. 84, 98, 2010, and now 2024.
It's always, nice when you can greet a new SEC member with a loss, right? That's always how you want to start.
Hey, you know what? Oklahoma now is looking 5-7, right dead in the eye, because they finish up with Alabama and LSU. Missouri still with a chance to have a 10-win season. Dennis Gates' team snapped a 20-game losing streak on Friday night. They're looking for their first back-to-back win since, I don't know, some point in the non-con about a year ago.
Caleb Grill just setting the tone, Ben. Like another great defensive play right there to jump a passing lane. Gets a deflection and then forces the turnover. Great to see. And Marcus Allen also in the game here for Missouri, wearing that number 4. Speaking of great defenders.
Defensive stud, part of that freshman recruiting class, played the crunch time minutes and really helped Missouri take what was only a 4-point lead over Howard to an 11-0 run and a comfortable win. Grill. Well, that's catch and shoot unconventionally.
That was in rhythm. That was deep. That was with extended range. But one thing you see with Caleb as a shooter, his confidence is high. He's flying around and starts on the defensive end. That's why he's got this confidence going.
Grill and Robinson in particular are bringing a ton of energy to the court right now.
This is something Dennis Gates talked a lot about with this building this team, is having depth, being able to look down your bench and knowing you can trust guys to go. Caleb is a journeyman, older player, coming in off the bench, making an impact. Yes, he's making shots. That's great to see. He started this game with an offensive rebound to get to the free throw line to get himself going.
Miscommunication there between Grill and Robinson. And that'll be a turnover on Missouri. They're 4th. Eastern Washington's turned it over 6 times now.
Ben, we just touched on Caleb Grill, Anthony Robinson. Dennis Gates talks about those guys the same of they go 100 miles an hour when they get into the game. It is slowing them down.
Dial it back a little.
Dialing it back a little bit once they get out there.
About 80 in a 70.
That's right.
We can get away with that unless we're in Callaway County. Nice look to Cook, and he finishes.
Nice look. Eastern Washington did a really good job sharing the ball, making the extra pass, not killing the dribble, really doing a nice job of swinging the ball and sacrificing a good shot for a great shot.
Robinson looking to drive here. Grill. How about 3? Yep.
I don't think it's hit the rim either, man. I mean, it's nothing on the bottom of the cup. It's an excellent pass by Anthony Robinson. Another piece of his game is the passing, leading Missouri with assists. Missouri wants to get those assist numbers up. Did not share the ball that well from an assist standpoint against Howard. Good to see. Great kick-out pass. Caleb Grill ready to shoot the ball.
He's got 13, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. Thomas the miss. Peyton Marshall the rebound. Missouri looking to run. Robinson cut off, and now they'll set things up in the half court. Caleb Grill heating up from the outside.
Yeah, and you look at Anthony Robinson gets a paint touch. The ball's not just thrown around the perimeter. He gets a paint touch and then kicks out to Caleb Grill, and a great 1-2 gather, right to left, on squared up, on balance. And those mechanics are picture perfect. The rotation on the ball, his release point, everything is compact and consistent and fluid. Nothing but the bottom. And it's great to see Caleb Grill hit some shots. I know he's been struggling trying to find that here early on, and you're seeing that tonight. Really good shooter, but also not just a shooter. Impacts the game in multiple ways for this team.
He's got a couple of rebounds right now to go along with those 13 points. Robinson hits the front end of 1-1. Missouri's bench is outscoring Eastern Washington 17-0 right now.
Yeah, the bench points is huge. And, You talk about with Anthony Robinson coming into the game and Caleb as well. The biggest thing you want to see is, yes, defensively. The start of this game was not good for Missouri on defense, getting back cut, leaving open shooters. So the defense, the deflections, the activity, the energy has been better, and it's led and carried over to the offensive side of the ball as well.
Williams the kick. There's a three-pointer. In and out. Rebound Grill. That one missed by Zaki. Robinson to the cutting Shaw. Shaw with a jump hook. Gets it to go.
Great touch. Aiden Shaw's added that to his game. He's more confident with that baby hook. He's got soft touch. He's really able, not just trying to dunk the ball, but get to that baby hook with his length and his explosiveness, his verticality. He can hit that little short 6'8" foot baby hook jumper. Really good sign right there from Aiden Shaw.
Yeah, McLean back in the game with 2 fouls, just under 9 minutes to play. This is Dan Monson saying, I need this guy in there to avoid this getting out of hand. And you look at the take there.
Man, that was pretty. Hang time, left hand extended finish on the other side of the glass. Big time bucket. Nick McLean had 16 points at Colorado for the last big matchup a couple games ago. A lot of that in the first half too, Ben. He can really score the ball.
Cross to Marcus Allen. Will put it on the deck. Into the paint. Blocked. Rejected that time by Hartman. Correct myself, that was Marquardt. That one off the mark by Williams. And the rebound by Marshall.
Right now, Eastern Washington shooting the ball, but nobody is going to the glass. They are sprinting back, and a lot of that has to do with their focus. They wanted to take transition buckets away from Missouri. So they're getting all 5 guys back.
Transition chance maybe for Eastern Washington here. Dribbled out of bounds. It'll stay with Eastern Washington. Missouri has built an 8-point lead, but having a hard time pulling away from Dan Monson's Eagles. It's 27-19. After a slow start, Missouri has opened up an 8-point lead, and it was Caleb Grill sparking them off the bench.
Yeah, he's been great. Plus 16 right now, 13 points, 4 of 5 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. 2 of 2 at the line. Also has 3 rebounds, but really shooting the ball. Hasn't really touched the rim. Just a pretty stroke from 3. Off movement. That transition finish showing his athleticism. He's played with a ton of fire, a ton of emotion. And Ben, when you talk about Caleb Grill too, I mean, the coaches talk about this a lot. Caleb Grill, when he's been on the floor at Mizzou, they're 7-2. Without him, they're 1-22. He went through a lot of adversity last year with the injuries. He's back healthy. You see Missouri practice. Caleb Grill is a huge point of emphasis for this team because of his shot making, his rebounding, but most importantly, his experience and how he competes. It rubs off on everybody else.
McLean thought about it, drives and kicks. Missouri bringing some of the starters back in. Bates and Mitchell and Perkins return. McLean with a 3. And there's going to be a foul called on Angelo Winkle of Eastern Washington. Jarrett, I mentioned off the top of the show the guys who were plus 16 or plus 14 against Howard. Right now, Anthony Robinson, Aiden Shaw, and Caleb Grill, those 3 that came off the bench, they're all plus 16. They're defending, and they're having good possessions on the other end.
Yeah, this game flipped when they got in the ball game. I mean, Missouri was stagnant. There was no life in this building. And then all of a sudden, those 3 come in, and the juice gets going, and it really sparks on the defensive side of the ball. And just speaking from experience, Mizzou Arena, when you don't have energy, you think, oh, I need to score. We need to make shots. And really, that energy can come from the defensive side of the ball. Getting rebounds, getting deflections, getting steals, getting out in transition, getting the crowd involved. That can start to take some of the pressure off of you. And then most importantly, getting to the free throw line, not just settling for jump shots. But trying to make it easier yourself. See the ball go through the net to just kind of build some momentum. And now Missouri up 10 here with 7 to go in the first half.
And speaking of the free throw line, that was the 10th team foul already. There's still 7.5 minutes to go in this first half. Missouri's going to have a chance to make a lot of hay at the foul line the rest of this first half.
Missouri 10-12 at the line. Eastern Washington has an attempted free throw. So Missouri doing a great job keeping it aggressive at the line.
McLean twisting his way to the hoop, and this will be their first trip to the stripe.
Obviously important for McLean to get into this game for Eastern Washington just because of his ball handling and his shot creation. Tough kid. You're dealing with an athlete like Aiden Shaw. He's a smaller player, but with that, the low man always wins. And right there, Aiden Shaw just too high. And that ball handler can get by you, get off your side hip there, create that contact, get to the free throw.
The foul went against Allen, which is his first. That's only the 4th team foul for Missouri. Aiden Shaw does go to the bench, replaced by Jacob Cruz.
What Dennis is saying right there to Aiden is, Aiden, you got to love the activity because he wants to get into the actual ball handler there. But right there, you got to know your assignment and know your personnel. Just give a little ground because he can slide so well laterally. He doesn't need to come out so high.
What a look. Allen to Mitchell.
It's a big time pass. And Mark Mitchell in pick and roll, he's so good out of ball. He gets so out of ball screens. He's so fast with his athleticism and those hips. Really can swing his hips around. Great catch and finish right to the rim on a great angle.
Cruz almost creates a turnover. Missouri's got some size out there right now. 6'8" and above. 3 guys, Mitchell, Allen, and Cruz.
And again, just different lineups Missouri can go to, but that's a great pass by Marcus Allen. To see the roller, sees the double right there, and a great job by Mark Mitchell, too, to know where he's at on the floor, dives perfectly to space for that dunk.
Allen almost had the rebound. That one no good. Another board for Allen.
Good activity right there by Marcus Allen, staying high, keeping those high hands.
6'7", 6'8", 6'9". Allen, Cruz, and Mitchell. And all versatile athletes.
Marcus Allen has those strong legs, lower half for a freshman. He can really sit and guard, and his physicality, he doesn't get bumped off his line a whole lot for a freshman.
Oh, he's got a wide open lane and a hammer.
Great read, great read. Just a simple pass fake, too. Great pass fake to shake the defense. Wide open driving lane and nobody getting in front of Marcus Allen.
4 points now to go along with 3 rebounds in 5 minutes for Marcus Allen. That's efficiency. 3 no good. Rebound hauled in by Winkle. McClain getting booed by the Mizzou Arena crowd after those fouls on Robinson earlier and the steal by Bates. Missouri on the run. Cruz loses control. Guarded by Zaki right along the baseline. What a good cut. Perkins bails him out and throws it down.
I was just about to say, somebody's got to cut. You got to help your teammate out. Cruz stuck in the corner, and a great cut. Tony Perkins gets a wide open dunk.
Missouri opens up a 15-point lead and a timeout called by Eastern Washington.
It's a great little pass right here from Tamar Bates. Marcus Allen off the pass fake, finishing with authority.
And we didn't see the cut, but we see the finish. And Tamar Bates was fired up for that good, helpful basketball as Cruz was stuck.
Missouri's too, the bench production right now. And we knew this coming into the game. Eastern Washington, obviously, a lot of newcomers, new faces. A lot's going to be focused on that starting 5. That's where a bulk of their production comes from. But right now, clearly the bench making the biggest impact of this game. And it's right there with the Missouri Tigers, both offensively and defensively.
Bench points right now, Missouri 23 of their 35 points off the bench. Still 0 for Eastern Washington.
And that's something that when this coaching staff at the University of Missouri looked at last year and the struggles that they had and knowing what they had to do to change what took place last year, it started from a personnel standpoint and getting the roster right. And what they wanted was to get back to that depth. Having pieces that they could look at that bench where they could go to different lineups, different rotations, play different ways. Obviously, they really valued size. The 7-footers will get Trent Burns back here at Missouri at some point once he gets healthy. And then all of a sudden you're talking about that size and that impact. You can go athletically too with Mark Mitchell, with Marcus Allen, with Aiden Shaw. You can play small. You got veteran guard play in Tony Perkins and Tamar Bates. You got a young emerging point guard and Anthony Robinson that stuck around, that did not transfer. Same with Trent Pierce. Trent Pierce is still on this roster, stuck around, stayed put, worked on his game. It's what you want to see in building a program. It's year 3 of Dennis Gates. Did not go how it should have gone last year and how they wanted to play last year, but making those necessary adjustments started with addressing the roster and addressing personnel.
And up 15 here, this is where Dennis Gates, coming out of the Memphis loss, said a big mistake was not expanding the lead from 13, 14, 15 to 20. And I'm sure that was the discussion in the huddle coming out of that timeout. The 3 knocked down by Zaki.
It's a big shot. Shot Eastern Washington needed as well.
Issa Zaki with a 3-pointer to make it a 12-point game. So how does Missouri respond to the response? Mitchell, the drive, got the step and the finish.
It's too easy, and that is something you can see a lot of from Mark Mitchell this season. I love the action. Clear the space out. Let Mark Mitchell work in a face-up right from the elbow. You see that first step. He goes right to, explodes right, straight to the rim for a dunk.
Quick ball movement. Marquardt with the 3. Wide right. And Mitchell with the rebound. Knocked out of bounds by Zaki. It will stay with Missouri.
Great ball move there by Eastern Washington. Just unable to hit the three, but right here, great pass by Tamar Bates. He's right there at the slot above the three-point line and just uses that athleticism to drive the ball. It's a straight line drive. Use your strength, use your physicality, and go finish above the rim. Mark Mitchell so explosive off the floor too. He's a quick dunker. He can get off the floor so fast and so quick. It's gonna be tough for big men to match that type of athleticism, especially when they can go to a small ball 5 lineup with him at the 5.
Perkins no good from 3. The rebound by Eastern Washington. McClain going coast to coast. Can't get it to go. Missouri now in transition. Perkins to the running Marcus Allen. Missed the dunk.
Yeah, that's tough too, because Eastern Washington misses a layup, and you knew Missouri was going to take it right down their throat on the other end, and they're unable to convert a dunk. Pace has picked up significantly here over the last few minutes.
Good cut by Williams. Shot altered, and a foul call. Missouri starting to pick up the pace, as you mentioned, and it's resulting in some fun basketball inside Mizzou Arena. Marcus Allen straight to the cup. Missouri with a 14-point lead.
So they just have 2 fast break points, but I feel like they've just been getting to the free throw line in those situations too, right?
Yeah. Missouri by 14, nearly matching their largest lead of the first half. They want to attack and run, don't they?
They really do. They're plus 26 in fast break points so far this season. So pace is critical to the system and the style that Dennis Gates wants to play. And you look at it tonight, they're just plus 2 in points in transition, but they're attacking the rim to get to the free throw line as well. So doing a really good job of pushing pace, pushing tempo. And really when you see a missed layup or a missed shot, long rebound, if you can catch and go with it, especially with the amount of ball handlers and guys that can handle and push pace, they trust their bigs to rebound, kick out, push it out, and go with it. That's something that Dennis Gates really harps on. But when you look at it too, the passing, just 9 assists to 12 turnovers against Howard. The passing and the assist numbers need to pick up. A lot of that comes back to transition and fast break points and making the easy play to try to get up and get yourself easy buckets.
15 foul on Missouri. Coming out of that last possession, Bates picked up the personal, his first. And the first free throw goes down for Mason Williams. I feel like Missouri's been more aggressive attacking the basket in the half court as well.
No question. Those first few minutes of the first half, it was a stagnant offense from Missouri back on their heels. Ball just swinging around the perimeter, A to B to C, but nothing attacking, nothing getting a paint touch. And they've really been able to adjust, play faster in transition, but also their half-court sets have been so much better as well to establish the block, establish the paint, get drives, but also play in isolation, play in pick and roll as well.
Against the zone here, Bates drills a 3.
Ben, we were watching Tamar Bates shoot before this game, and his shot looks so much more consistent and reliable. He looks like he's shooting the ball with so much confidence. 3 threes the other night. That's in rhythm, pretty stroke from 3. He has improved so much from the three-point line since his days at Indiana.
Missouri has, in general, again, 3 for 22 against Howard. They are 4 for 8 so far in this game. Missouri's made 5 of their last 7 field goal attempts.
And we talked about this too. Tamar Bates has to shoot those threes. He's got to be aggressive. He's such a smart player. He doesn't take bad shots, but he has to be aggressive to find a shot.
Tyler Powell just pulled Anthony Robinson down, so that's another foul. Just look at that last triple by Tamar Bates.
Yeah, Tamar Bates last year, he was 2 threes away from being the first 50, 40, 90 member in Mizzou basketball history, so highly efficient. He was 50, 39, and 93. We know how good he is at the free throw line. He's a good three-point shooter as well, 39% last year, and obviously off to a great start this season shooting the three-point shot. But really you want to see that volume increase a little bit too. When he's got a chance to make shots, sometimes he can be a little passive. He's very unselfish, sometimes too unselfish, and he wants to attack downhill. He's a very good shooter. That's a great shot and a great sign too, taking the right-hand dribble and getting into a shot.
They actually called that foul on Robinson, which is interesting. Missouri ends up forcing the turnover. Usually the foul doesn't get called on the guy who ends up on the floor.
I think the word interesting is a good way to put it there. Well done.
I guess there was something I didn't see. Anyway, Missouri will get the ball. That foul on Robinson was his first.
Next play, Ben. Next play.
6-team foul, so Eastern Washington will shoot on the next one. Marquez Warwick into the game for the first time, the Northern Kentucky transfer. Gets it back against this pressure. He and Robinson work their way up the floor.
It's amazing you can look down your bench with Warwick, who's 2,246 points scored, 20 points per game last year at Northern Kentucky. So you're adding a guy that is very clearly a scorer, an instinctual scorer.
He's the 5th guy off the bench tonight.
Probably so.
On the drive, it's the foul line, twisting around, had nowhere to go. Caught a lucky bounce there, but Missouri doesn't get a shot off. That's the first shot clock violation by the Tigers tonight.
Yeah, it's tough too with Warwick trying to go drive the ball, a little stagnant, trying to make a play happen, and loses the ball again. First time he's getting in the game, first time he touched the ball. You want to get comfortable, get a feel right there, just get a little sped up right there, and really good active hands and defense there by Eastern Washington.
Missouri brings Allen back in. Bates goes to the bench. 15-point lead, matches the largest of the night for Missouri.
Missouri shooting 62% from the field, 50 from 3, and 83% from the line. It's a great first half efficient basketball.
Allen recovers after he was hunting that steal. Offensive rebound, Zaki out to Cook, who we haven't heard from in a while. Up to a quick start. Eastern Washington needs to get him going again. Robinson stuck to him like glue. Powell got it to go.
Yeah, it's on Warwick too. It's this guy late to a closeout. It's a little too slow to get a hand up.
First points for Powell. Missouri's lead back down to 12. Warwick open. Offensive rebound, Robinson puts it up. Shaw couldn't quite back it home.
It's a great decision by Anthony Robinson too. Perfect lob too. Great timing on that lob. And Shaw just unable to finish.
Mark Mitchell up off the bench. He'll check in at the next stop. Cook to Marquardt. Good cut. Williams gets it to go.
It's a great cut by Williams. Missouri extending the defensive pressure out in passing lanes, and that's an excellent back cut. Right decision. Great hang time and a tough finish too. Soft off the glass.
Under a minute to play in the first half. Missouri's lead down to 10. Grill in the corner. Is he still hot from 3? Yes, he is.
Still don't think he's hit the rim, but it's just a pretty stroke. He's so quick too. Great bounce pass by Warwick to beat the zone as well.
Cook the other way. Got it, and the foul. The immediate response by Eastern Washington.
Dennis Gates and Anthony Robinson both talking to Aiden Shaw there about the defensive transition and the coverage there. Breakdown for Missouri defensively. That's not going to be a moment Dennis Gates is going to look at on film and be happy with.
Warwick and Shaw replaced by Perkins and Mitchell for the final 36 seconds of the half.
Big bucket too from Eastern Washington. Basketball, such a game of momentum. Big 3 crowd back in it. And it's just one pass up the floor for a 3-point play.
3 the old-fashioned way for Cook, who goes to the bench and will finish with 12 points on 5 of 6 shooting in the first half. A 7-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Missouri will slow it down.
Seeing here if Eastern Washington might change their defense. They've been in a 2-3 zone here over the last few possessions. Looks like they're going to stay in it.
Robinson looking to drive. Baseline. Allen can't get it to go. Offensive stick back by Mark Mitchell.
This game, how quick is that? Just catch, go finish, and dunk the basketball. Right place, right time. Mark Mitchell just hanging around, being active on that offensive glass.
Powell to beat the buzzer. Off the back iron. And like that, Missouri's got a double-figure lead at the half. Mark Mitchell, 10 points and 2 rebounds to help lead the way, along with 16 from Caleb Grill.
Mark Mitchell, Caleb Grill really doing a great job of showing that experience. 26 points combined, carrying Missouri in this first half.
Missouri also running and having some fun on a Monday night at Mizzou Arena. Perkins, Mitchell, and others. Tigers by 12, 45-33 at the break. Opening minutes of the game for Missouri, the Tigers bench really carried them.
Really did. Plus 20 in the bench points for Missouri, 26 as a team. Caleb Grill really set the tone off the bench, hitting 4 threes. His activity defensively, too, getting a couple steals. He was excellent to set the tone off the bench when Missouri needed it the most in the first half. As
you mentioned several times in the first half, it started with defense. Active hands by Missouri using their length.
Yeah, and Missouri, 4 steals in the first half, forcing the 8 turnovers. And really, it's just about their activity, getting into passing lanes, using their length, using that adrenaline that Caleb Grill provided because of the shot making. It just kind of rubbed off on everybody. Defensively, they were great. And then the shooting. Caleb Grill, I don't think he hit the rim. Nothing but the bottom of the cup. Great footwork, shooting the basketball, shared it. And Caleb Grill in transition with the finish. That was when Missouri was really trying to get back in the game early on when they were struggling. They needed a jolt. They got it from Caleb Grill. It started on the defensive end. He had a big offensive rebound too when he got in the game. So really just did a great job of just finding his rhythm. And then the team was able to kind of piggyback off of that throughout that first half.
16 points in that first half. We mentioned it. It was, Grill along with Anthony Robinson and Aiden Shaw. They were the ones that really kind of shook Missouri out of their slow start in the first half.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at Anthony Robinson, he led Missouri in rebounds with 4. I mean, he's comes in and plays 12 minutes and leads them in rebounding. Got to the free throw line too. Anthony Robinson was in attack mode, had 3 assists, really shared the ball well. But we also hit on Mark Mitchell in the open, and I think Mark Mitchell did a great job of just taking what the defense gave him, did a nice job attacking and really exploiting mismatches. When he's in one-on-one in space, he's going to win and win more times than not with his explosiveness. That was a big part of the first half as well.
Certainly only out-rebounded Eastern Washington by 1 in that first half, so Missouri will look to control the glass a little bit better here in the second half. 12-point ball game as we get going. Nick McClain guarded by Tony Perkins to start things out here in the second half. Good look down low. Andrew Cook blocked by Josh Gray. They stay with Eastern Washington.
That's something they want Josh Gray to be able to do. That's why he's here, is rebound the ball and rim protect. Those 2 things are what Missouri was desperate for last season. Obviously, he's got that SEC experience. The block shots with his timing and his length and rebound the ball.
For the 5 same starters from the beginning of the ball game here in the second half, instead of Honor Boateng, it is Caleb Grill. Perkins puts it up. Gray couldn't haul it in.
Talk about too, that's what we talked about here at the end of the first half, was just the activity, the hands. Missouri able to force a turnover. Great hands by Mark Mitchell there on the pick and roll coverage.
9th turnover committed by Eastern Washington. Mason Williams, here's a spark for Eastern Washington about midway through that first half, and Missouri built a 15-point lead, tried to pull away. Sebastian Harton. There's Cook. Foul called on Bates.
It's important too here for Eastern Washington. They're running good actions, but they're not getting clean looks. And a lot of it has to do with Missouri's defense, their length, their activity, their athleticism. Moving the ball really well. It's continuing to kind of trust that offense. If they can, try to continue to attack and then spray the ball out, make Missouri rotate. That's what got them some good offense in the first half, was spraying that ball around, moving the ball, skip passes, really forcing Missouri to rotate in their defensive coverages.
Grill guarding Cook. Those are 2 guys with a high motor. And Cook gets the fadeaway.
Cook had a good first half too. He's 5 of 6 for 12 points in the first half. Very efficient night. Really good post up there, keeping his ground. Nice turnaround jumper.
Bates all the way to the hoop. 2-man game with Gray.
That 2-man game will be there. Expect that a lot from Tamar Bates, not just with Gray, but also Mark Mitchell. Again, when you talk about Tamar Bates' aggressiveness, smooth left-hand finish right there.
This is going to be a fun matchup here between Grill and Cook. Missouri switches. Hartman down low to McClain, and he will go to the foul line. Foul on Tony Perkins.
And when you're defending off the ball, you got to know where you are. And Tony Perkins just turns his head, and the cut comes behind his head. Right here, just got some bully ball there on the block from the guards. That's Huff's soft fall away. And Tamar Bates at length, athleticism, beats the weak side to the rim and soft touch.
First one good for McClain. This can get it back to a 10-point game.
McClain, too, 5 turnovers in that first half. That's rare for him. He usually takes care of that basketball. Missouri was able to be active on him in the first half. Important for him to take care of the ball for Eastern Washington in the second half.
He did a really good job. He came back into the game with about 9 minutes to play in the half with 2 fouls. There's Grill. He's unstoppable tonight.
Yeah, he loves that too. Right to left, left to right. Just for a shooter, that footwork is so smooth. It's not just the shot at the top with his release, but his footwork and the space right there. Not a lot of space, but extended range from Caleb Grill.
Williams, the top returning shooter for Eastern Washington, pulls up and gets it to go.
He's talented. He is really talented. He's had moments in this game where you can see what Coach Munson loves about him. He's got a natural ability to play the game. He's a smart player. He's skilled, though. He can handle, he can get to his spots, and a good athlete.
There they go again. Bates this time finds Perkins in the corner, but a whistle on the drive and a foul against Eastern Washington.
Talk about Tamar Bates last year. Some big-time productive scoring games. Had games where he wasn't as productive, but he was so important for the team on defense and on offense with his athleticism and size.
Telegraph that one. Cook the steal and the slam.
Something you want is a turnover on a baseline underneath play. It's a dangerous pass trying to throw across the goal, across the floor. You're passing across the defense, and it's an easy deflection.
Gray puts it on the floor, gets to the hoop, forces his way to a dunk.
It's bully ball strength, mano a mano, and Gray wins the battle and goes and finishes with authority. It's a big-time move.
First points for Josh Gray tonight. Williams with Perkins all over him. McClain and now Hartman. Hartman looking to drive himself. Marquardt back to Williams. Aggressive man-to-man defense here by Missouri. Almost got a swipe there by Bates. Late in the shot clock. Hartman in and out. Grill competes for the rebound, and Missouri gets the possession because of it.
Excellent defensive possession by Missouri. They don't give up dribble penetration. Caleb Grill was beat on the coverage, but able to just, again, be active, use his hands, use his athleticism, just gets a fingertip on the ball and deflects it for a rebound. Big fella, Josh Gray, just hitting that shoulder into the defender. It's a legal play. Good no call as well.
Hey,
beats him to the spot.
He didn't dip it too much.
That's right. That's right. Able to finish.
Gray to the bench. Marcus Allen back in for Missouri. So, I mean, it's always interesting to see what the five-person combination is here. Absolutely. Right now, Bates, Allen, Mark Mitchell, Caleb Grill, and Tony Perkins as Allen stepped out of bounds.
And Missouri's going to try to throw different lineups in these games where they can build a lead, hopefully, and Dennis Gates can see how different lineups play. But I think it's important to really try to figure out Mark Mitchell at the 5 as well when you can play small with his athleticism, his ability to anticipate, go get balls around the rim offensively and defensively, but his ability to attack. And then you can have shooting around him, guard play around him with cutters and slashers. You can really play some exciting small ball basketball.
How much does it help whenever you want to go with Mitchell at the 5 that you've got somebody like Allen who's deceptively tall? I mean, he's 6'7", 6'8", to be able to slide into that 4 spot.
It's a great point and great question, because last year when you think of Missouri defensively, obviously they were killed on the glass a lot. Rim protection, they were able to block shots, but you really talk about stop, cutting off someone's water, having that defender that can go get you a stop. Marcus Allen's going to be that guy over time. That's something they've identified. He can guard, he can slide, he can switch. Mark Mitchell's the same way. He can slide and guard, and they believe Caleb Grill can be that as well. Caleb was banged up, didn't play a lot last year, obviously, with injury. He's a guy that can switch with his athleticism, that motor that you talked about, Ben, his toughness. They got guys that can guard and cut off the water of a pump.
Robinson guarding the baseline. He just came in, and a turnover forced. Robinson in transition. Didn't have any help with him. Going against Cook. Didn't draw iron that time.
Coaches didn't like that at all. It's not what you want. A lot of dribbling and a fall-away fadeaway. You can get that shot anytime. It's a bad shot.
Wait for some help. Hockey across to Mason Williams. Miscommunication there. Missouri with the steal. And miscommunication on the other end. As Bates expected Grill to go further to the hoop. Missouri still with a double-figure lead. 15:26 to play in the second half. Mizzou 52, Eastern Washington 41. Mark Mitchell added again, 10 points for Missouri so far tonight.
Yeah, an efficient 18 minutes from Mark Mitchell. He's been everywhere around the rim. This is really what you want to see from him. He's playing out of the slot, playing out of the high-low, offensive rebounding and finishing. At Duke, he was more in the corner, but he's very active when he can be around the rim.
So Missouri maintaining a double-figure lead here for the majority of the back end of the first half and now into the second half, but they're having a hard time pulling away Mitchell has been probably their best half-court offensive player through the first 2.5 games at this point.
Yeah, and you look at Mark Mitchell, too. I mean, his 2 years at Duke, he started 67 of 68 games. So, obviously, there's so much value to him. He was close to 12-point-per-game score, 6 rebounds. That's really where his numbers are at right now. Because he has so much more opportunity to really showcase his skill set. Because he's a very talented kid. But you look at the role he was at Duke, very different than what he'll play in Dennis Gates' system and style. And this style benefits Mark Mitchell. He's high motor, high energy, high activity, big man who can play the 4, he can play the 5. I think he'd like to play the 3 at some point as well, but he's probably going to be best suited at the 4 and 5. But his ability to catch, attack, and his ability to go both directions is who's Missouri's go-to guy going to be. We talk about that a lot. It might be Mark Mitchell when it's all said and done once we start getting to the bulk of the season.
2 on each other again, Robinson and McClain. Good cut by Cook, and he finishes.
Cook's got such good touch. Doesn't even shoot the ball, but just around the rim. Really on-balance player, fundamentally sound, doesn't get sped up. Not really bothered either. He's made some tough shots tonight.
He's got 18 points. Allen looking to attack the rim. And knocked out of bounds by Visazaki, and that will stay with Missouri. 10 to shoot.
And Ben, that looks like a freshman moment right there. I mean, Marcus Allen, it's a good drive. He wants to go create a play, but he doesn't realize where all the help defense is going to be, the activity, the hands, and the speed of the game is so much different than high school. He could do that in high school and just overpower himself to the rim. Right there, he's having some trouble keeping the ball. It's a little sloppy, tries to make a pass, gets deflected. It's the speed of the game that is an adjustment for freshmen.
Perkins into the game, so Perkins and Robinson playing at the same time. Mitchell with a 3. Rebound hauled in by Andrew Cook. Window is open here. They're within 9. Zaki misses a 3. That was too quick.
Too quick. Got an open look, but still too quick right now, especially after you just got to stop on the other end.
And Mitchell goes right to work to the basket.
As a right-hand finish, Ben, that's what he can do. It's not just left, it's right. It's really soft touch, great use of the rim. Let the ball bounce in. Don't try to force. As again, the spin moves, being able to go either direction and spin off in both directions. Tough to guard when you're a defender, especially with the athlete Mark Mitchell is.
No look past to Zaki. What a play by Mason Williams.
Mason Williams is talented. He's showing a lot in this game. Just the passing ability, but the scoring, the size, his versatility, he can handle. Some really good moments tonight for Eastern Washington.
Robinson attacks. He's cut off. Now a transition chance for McClain. All the way coast to coast, blocked. Mark Mitchell with the rim protection.
High hands, Ben. Doesn't come down. It's not a foul when you go up high hands.
No look pass by Mitchell, knocked out of bounds by Eastern Washington, so it'll stay with Missouri. Eastern Washington's hanging around.
Hanging around. Right here, just a great move by Mitchell to use his strength and just kind of bully his way to the rim. Soft touch, great use of his hang time dribble, but right there, a simple cut, just a face cut right there from Eastern Washington. Missouri's got to see that, but it's going to see Eastern Washington start to move a little bit instead of settling for jumpers. It's a good cut and a finish right there.
Hayden Shaw back in for Missouri. Allen to the bench. And a whistle on the out-of-bounds set, and it'll go against Eastern Washington. It's their 3rd team foul. Goes against Sonke. Now a substitution coming from Eastern Washington. As Sebastian Hartman takes a seat, and Elijah Thomas comes back in.
Coach Gates, again, smaller lineup, but going with 2 point guards, too. Tony Perkins and Anthony Robinson on the floor together.
Mitchell lost control, but a foul called on Eastern Washington again.
Mark Mitchell wanting to say he was shooting in the act of shooting there. We'll see if they call it. I think they called on the floor here.
And another baseline out of bounds for Missouri. The foul goes against Powell.
That's another thing you can expect to see is Mark Mitchell, when he's in attack mode, he's going to put a lot of fouls on a lot of guys with his ability to create space.
Robinson going to work in the post, the little guy. And earns a trip to the line.
He likes doing that. I mean, you know, he wants to post up. I mean, he's not afraid of the contact, the physicality, and he might be overmatched, but he does not give up a ton of ground. He lost his balance there, just a lack of strength, but able to stay with the play and then go up and create that contact and get himself to the free throw line.
I say little guy, he's 6'3", but he's been aggressive tonight.
I just think that looks so good too, Ben. Anthony Robinson shooting the free throw line.
Don't miss Read and React coming up tonight at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network.
The free throw stroke, just pure, compact, high release. I'd like to see Anthony Robinson too from a three-point shooting perspective. He had games where he made threes. Didn't shoot a ton of them last year. A little bit up and down with shooting, but an area he's really worked on as well. Expect a big jump from the sophomore Anthony Robinson this season.
Missouri's lead back to 11. Almost forced another turnover there. Williams to Zonke. Gets his own rebound. Powell open straight away. Buried.
Second chance opportunity for Eastern Washington. Missouri went zone there. And when you go zone, long shots, long rebounds, you got to find a body. And right there, Eastern Washington able to get the offensive rebound. No box out, no contact from Missouri on the defensive glass.
Gray back to the basket. He's in trouble now. Robinson helps him out. And Robinson has it knocked out of bounds by Zonke. And it'll stay with Mizzou.
It's an important stretch right here for both teams. It's an 8-point game, 12, plenty of time. But this is a game of runs. It has been a game of runs. And it feels like Missouri just hasn't had a chance to really break away. Eastern Washington has hung around, and they're still within striking distance. So a big stretch right here for both teams.
Jacob Cruz comes in for Aiden Shaw, who has a long conversation with Dennis Gates, clarifying things. 12 on the shot clock from Missouri.
It's one of my favorite things, too, about Dennis Gates. More times than not, when players come out, there's a healthy conversation. Just teachable moments. What did you see? It's open communication.
He's going to have to put it up. It's Brill. He's got the hot hand, and that one just rattled out. And a foul is called on Seal on the rebound.
Good stuff there from Josh Gray as well. Just not allowing himself to be boxed out. Overmatching his opponent with his strength and his broad shoulders. And just trying to swing and rip and try to get an offensive rebound, and he gets a foul call.
That's the 16th foul on the Eagles. So Missouri will shoot on the next one. Tigers got into the bonus quickly in the first half also. With about 7.5 minutes.
It's a little thing, but it gets you an extra possession. Just working, doing the little things to create a foul.
And Perkins draws another foul. And that will send him to the line.
Veteran guard move right there from Tony Perkins. Just a simple step through, drives left. Good little Euro to create space and get himself to the free throw line.
2 quick fouls on Jackson Seal, and now he's got 3, and that is the 7th team foul. Perkins gets 2 shots on the layup attempt, but Missouri will be in the 1-and-1. First one good by Perkins. The 13th point at the foul line for Missouri.
It's important for Dennis Gates to add a point guard out of the transfer portal. He was able to add a player like Tony Perkins, second team All Big Ten honor last year, but a player that has 1,100 points, 375 rebounds, 300 assists, 130 steals. I think experienced veteran guard. Veteran play wins in March. Point guard play is so important to that effort, and that's why Tony Perkins was able to land here at Missouri. It was a great get for Coach Gates to add that, especially for a younger point guard than Anthony Robinson.
Air ball by Powell. Missouri looking to push that lead. Robinson in the middle. Can't get it to go. McLean the rebound. And that is a kick ball. And it'll stay with Eastern Washington. When we come back, Missouri, well, they've been up by 10 or more most of the way, but Eastern Washington hanging around. It was a complete rebuild for first-year head coach Dan Monson at Eastern Washington. They lost nearly all of their offensive production from a year ago. as their top 4 scorers transferred to Washington State. They've had to look for answers here early in the season. It's a big fact-finding mission for a lot of teams the first month or so of the college basketball season, with as much roster turnover as pretty much everybody has.
Yeah, and Coach Munson touched on this about just this adapt or die mentality as a coach. You know, he's an experienced head coach and an experienced coach that's been around a lot of programs and seen it all. And now he's in an NIL space, taking on a new job. And he really wanted to identify players that were about ball, that wanted to play. In an NIL world, that's tough. But he found newcomers that really, you know, maybe didn't need the confidence. They needed a reality. They wanted to be at a place where they were wanted and where they could build around an experienced coach where they can learn. And I think that's what this is so important time for Coach Munson and Eastern Washington. Is he talked when we talked about the preseason and how they're still getting adapted to each other because they just haven't had a ton of time together. And you talk to coaches around the country, they'll say the same thing. I mean, you have time in the summer, you have time in the fall, but there's nothing like that game experience. We have totally different rosters. It takes time to build that chemistry and rapport.
Especially teams that know they're in a one-bid lead. There's Powell with the bucket and the foul. Gives you some time to find your Tyler Powells and get things worked out by the time conference play rolls around.
It's a good move by Tyler Powell. Just a simple shot fake and head fake. Gets to a spot. Josh Gray off balance and leaning. Easy call, easy three-point play, but a big-time move at a time when Eastern Washington really needed that as well. Out of the timeout, cuts into the deficit that was double digits. Chance to get a three-point play and cut this to 7 with just under 12 to play.
And he does. And with 11:35 to go, it is a 7-point game, the closest that Eastern Washington has been. It's about midway through the first half. Grill, aggressive attack, bucket, and the foul.
It's a great design play call. And that's the same play Caleb Grill hit a 3 on earlier in this half, only this time he reads his defender. No, the defender's overplayed, so he catches it and drives it. Quick, decisive decision to get down and use his speed and burst, creates the contact and finishes. That's a great read by Caleb Grill off of the shooting piece, off of the same play, same action, but a simple curl and able to get to the rim off limited dribbles. Great decision by Caleb Grill.
He ends up with 3 points anyhow. Big response by Missouri. Remember on Friday, Howard got the game down to 4 points with 3.5 minutes to play. Mizzou responded with an 11-0 run and put the game away. What happens here?
Missouri changes their defense. Great play by Cruz there to get his hands on a ball. Another deflection for Missouri.
12th turnover by Eastern Washington. Mitchell. Shake and drive, and Cruz for 3. Got it.
And good for Jacob Cruz. Hitting the 3. Perfect play by Mark Mitchell. Drive the paint, get a paint touch. That help side comes, and he kicks it out to his shooter. Big shot, a quick little run here for Missouri. Eastern Washington gets the timeout.
Yeah, Missouri with 6 straight points there in response. And Missouri using that defensive adjustment you mentioned to create some offense.
Jacob Cruz is a good stretch for him. He played a ton, trying to find himself within this system in offense in a new spot. Gets it, again, goes back, starts on defense, gets a steal, gets a deflection. He's in rhythm. He's got the pressure off of him, not thinking offense, and gets a wide open opportunity. And that's his game. Space shooting, shooting off of Mark Mitchell. We talked about that at the half. Mark Mitchell playing in the slot, playing at the middle, and being able to attack and finish.
Quick timeout called by Eastern Washington as Missouri stretches the lead to 13 in a matter of moments. And Mizzou has really improved their shooting from the outside in this game. They're 7-for-14 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of sharing the basketball, finding good shots in rhythm. You know, the confidence comes, you know, ball finds energy. It's a phrase you hear often, but I still think in this game particularly, it's been the defensive side of the ball that's kind of created that energy, taking a little bit of pressure off of that, especially when you're coming out of a game where you don't shoot the ball that well. It's something where you have to find that and create that, especially when the building wasn't that, you know, loud or energetic when we started this game, and that's really changed through the course of the second half.
We saw there just a moment ago how those numbers have flipped from one year to the next for both teams, and that's what can happen when you attack the transfer portal.
Modern day basketball right now, it's glorified free agency in college basketball. Every year you can change your roster. And see both teams having to do that this season. Hitting the transfer portal, also hitting the freshman market and adding young players to the roster.
Well, that's the thing that Missouri has going in their favor, and why a team that had lost 20 in a row until last Friday is in the conversation, and already people are projecting them as possibly going back to the NCAA tournament, because they have added not just a top 10 portal class, but a top 5 recruiting class from the freshmen. There's a huge response by Eastern Washington with Williams from the outside, and he's got 12 now.
It's a big, big shot out of a timeout, and you hit a three-point shot like that to cut it back to 10. Now a turnover.
And now the steal by Cook, coast to coast. And after Missouri scored 6 straight, 5 in a row coming out of the timeout for the Eagles.
So that was a great timeout by Coach Munson just to stop the bleeding. And boy, has the momentum shifted.
Grill fouled on the 3, and so he'll go to the line.
Look right here, too. Just a simple shot fake to get Caleb Grill off his feet. It's a big-time shot, and just a great look at where the defense is at, and then the steal. Lazy, careless pass. An easy steal from Cook, coast to coast for the finish.
Cook's got 20 now, 9 for 11 from the field.
Yeah, he's been so efficient. We talked about it on the open. He had 25 points his last time out and did it on 13 shots. 9 of 13. Just so efficient. Just taking the game as it comes to him. And right there, heads up play to jump that passing lane on a careless pass.
Grill with 2 more.
You would think the hottest shooter on the night could go to the free throw line and bury these free throws, but unlike Caleb Grill to miss 2 free throws.
Missed all 3, the 82% career free throw shooter. That's surprising. Chance now for Eastern Washington to continue the run. They're back with an 8, make it 6.
How much of a shift has it been from the timeout? And the missed free throws on one end. And right now, Missouri's got to find that momentum.
Perkins straight to the basket and the foul. Cook begging for some help as the Eastern Washington Eagles got crossed up defensively there.
That's a veteran point guard move right there by Tony Perkins to just see what Eastern Washington was doing in defensive transition. The floor is spaced and he sees the gap. There's no help on the strong side, and it's a clear naked screen right there. He can go straight to the rim, create the contact, and a 3-point play.
Must be something wrong with that rim.
I mean, free throw shooting has been a topic of conversation with this Missouri team after the Memphis game, working on that, knowing they have to convert at the free throw line, especially with their style.
Missouri was 15 for 17 at the line, and they just missed 4 straight. Marquardt off a nice dish by Cook.
I'm so impressed with Cook, too. He makes that play happen off a cut, and then the vision to be able to hit that back pass. He's showing everything here over the last few minutes.
Robinson down low to Perkins. He's double teamed. Swung around. Grill, catch and shoot 3. Knocked it down.
Great kick by Anthony Robinson and Caleb Grill. The shooters have to do their work early, and great shooters know when the ball's coming to him. He gets his feet underneath him before he even catches the ball. Shot ready, buries a 3 that's contested.
Great Cook cut and bucket.
Moving without the basketball, and Cook has been so impressive in the second half, being able to create offense without the ball. Limited dribbles, making plays happen.
He's got 24 points. Mitchell, mismatch, draws a foul.
And back and forth we go, and this game has become now both teams really executing at a high level offensively. That's a big shot from Caleb Grill. Off movement and a relocation, and then a simple cut by Cook. Knowing the defense is shifting, he cuts right down the pipe and gets a wide open left-hand layup.
Grill at 25, he's 6 of 8 from beyond 3. Cook 24, 11 of 13 from the field.
24 and 22 minutes for Cook.
You'll take that, won't you?
You will take that, especially on the road. It's an efficient night.
Well, Mitchell finally breaks the streak. Missouri had missed 4 straight free throws on this end.
This is an area Mark Mitchell has worked a ton on. His free throw shooting, 8 of 8 at the line in the Howard game. now on a 9-for-9 stretch. I hope I didn't jinx that at all, but really doing a good job of just slowing himself down, going through his routine. Looks more comfortable, way more confident as well at the free throw line. The 3 C's, comfortable, confident, consistent. That's what you have to be as a free throw shooter. You got to know you're going to make these free throws when you step to the line.
In and out. Only got 2 rebounds. Missouri would probably like him on the glass a little bit more.
I will apologize to him later.
So with 8:20 to go, it's an 8-point game.
They're switching their defense here. Going back to a more matchup zone.
McClain kicks it out and out of bounds. Sebastian Hartman stepped out.
I like the adjustment. It's a little thing Missouri does there to show a little bit more of a matchup zone. And they're not just showing a 2-3. They're more trying to show a matchup 1-3-1. They're not really set in the zone, and then they get into their zone off the initiation of the pass. And that really kind of threw off Eastern Washington there.
That right there is something that's come into the game more and more the last 5 or 6 years, where players feel the need to kick out that back leg on a pass reception, and that's what can cause a turnover.
Yeah, more and more. You got to know where you are on the floor, and that back step is to create power, especially when you're off balance.
Here's the steal for Eastern Washington. Missouri turns it over. And another chance to get back within 6 or 5 for Eastern Washington. McClain only has 5 points. Drives on Mitchell. Swung around. Zaki drives on Bates, who just came back in. Under 10 to shoot. Mason Williams tries to get around Grill, and does.
It's a tough bucket. It's excellent defense by Caleb Grill, but it's just better offense. Williams fading away off glass. Didn't have much there and creates a bucket. How good has he been in the second half?
He's got 14 points now, which is 4 off his career high that he set last week against Seattle. Missouri goes down low to Mitchell. Mitchell. Aggressive move, but he can't get it to go. A rebound by McClain.
It's the right idea by Mark Mitchell, just didn't finish.
6-point game. Williams looking to cut it in half, and does drain that 3-pointer. His third 3 of the night.
It was almost at the Norm Stewart logo. That was deep. Caleb Grill has a contest, but has to get out there sooner.
Timeout called by Missouri. Eastern Washington's made 8 straight field goals, and they are right there with 6:48 to go. It's a 3-point ball game. The Eastern Washington Eagles looking to pull the upset on the road in the SEC building. Dennis Gates calling a timeout, trying to cool off Eastern Washington. They've hit 8 straight field goals, and they are red hot in the second half.
Yeah, they really are. And for Missouri, 6 turnovers. They have 11 assists to 12 turnovers on the game, and they're -5 on the glass in the second half. So give Eastern Washington credit. They've kind of changed the game in some of these areas. Yes, they're shooting 70% from the field, but also forcing some turnovers, getting on the offensive glass. And then you talk points in the paint. Right now, Eastern Washington +6 points in the paint. That can't happen. That's been a big change here in the second half. You've seen some cutting and some finishing off glass from Eastern Washington, is getting better looks and better flow on offense to get back in this game.
Missouri also only has 2 fast break points in the entire game, and that's an area where they like to attack, and it just hasn't been there tonight.
And that's what Munson talked about going into this game, was how Mizzou was so good in transition and in the open floor. They needed to control tempo and pace. They've done that in the second half. First half, I thought Missouri really kind of took the aggression for most of that first half, not the beginning of the game, but the second half, it's been more Eastern Washington kind of setting the tone of trying to play in transition more than Missouri. They've done a good job of taking away easy ones from Mizzou.
See what Missouri does coming out of the timeout. It's a 3-point game. Bates back on the floor. An experienced lineup out for Missouri. Mitchell, Perkins, Bates, Cruz, and Grill. Pull up by Perkins. Rebound by Zonke.
Right there, Tony Perkins brought his defender, Mark Mitchell, who was in one-on-one.
McClain attacks the basket, draws a foul on Tamar Bates. This is the most experienced lineup I think that Missouri could put on the floor, minus Josh Gray and Marquez Warwick, as Dennis Gates tries to get this thing figured out with his older guys.
Eastern Washington staying in attack mode too. I mean, right there, Missouri doesn't get back, doesn't really stop the ball, gives up another paint touch. Missouri getting away from what brought them success on the defensive side of the ball, the deflections, the activity, the energy. active hands, active feet, and just allowing too much dribble penetration in the second half.
McLean with only 5 points. He battled foul trouble in the first half. Got the second. It's a 2-point game. And some pressure coming here from the Eagles. And it almost forces a turnover. Good play by Zonky. Perkins to Grill. Grill has hit 6 3-pointers tonight.
Extended 3-2 look from Eastern Washington.
How's Missouri going to attack it? 8 to shoot. Under 6 minutes to play. Bates. They have to pull up. Look at that offensive rebound by Grill. 2 of them. As he goes to the floor, it's a jump ball, and Missouri will retain on the alternating possession.
Right there in the Eastern Washington zone, giving Missouri a lot of problems. Nothing there. Missouri's got 2 guys flashing to the same spot. There's really nowhere to go with the ball, but activity by Caleb Grill. Just great effort on the offensive glass. Tried to get the tip in, but then stays with the play on that second, third jump to get his team an extra possession. Heads up play by Caleb Grill.
Inbounded to Grill, quickly to Cruz. What do they need to do to break this up, Jared?
Definitely it's flashing to the post. Too much standing around and everybody looking for someone to make a play. And Tamar Bates on cue goes and makes one.
That's exactly what he does. Hit the paint, little jump hook, and Missouri expands the lead back out to 4. Williams attacking, guarded closely by Grill. Swung around. Eastern Washington doing this without Andrew Cook in the game, by the way, and McLean will go back to the foul line.
It's a tough call because Missouri was so sound defensively. Foul called there on Mark Mitchell. A little too much contact, but Missouri has picked it up a little bit in terms of the intensity and the effort on the defensive side of the ball, taking away dribble penetration. So right now, that's exactly what Eastern Washington is trying to do, is get his couple dribbles, trying to drive it. If you don't have anything, kick it and move it, and try to see who can get a paint touch. A lot of versatility on the floor for Eastern Washington in terms of scoring the ball, being able to handle, and being able to play make.
McLean is now 5 for 7 at the foul line. As Eastern Washington brings Andrew Cook back in. He's got 24 points, lead all scorers. McLean has 8, and it's back to a 2-point game.
An extended 3-2 zone again. Let's see what Missouri shows here on offense.
Perkins and Grill and Bates just kind of playing catch. 30 feet from the basket. Grill from way out. Heat check. Yep.
Wow. That was almost to the logo, man. That's a big shot. And again, the ball just passing around the perimeter. They just wanted a high ball screen with Mark Mitchell, and Caleb rotates and rolls into that shot. Great relocation. And again, the footwork, the shooting by Caleb Grill has been high level tonight.
7th 3-pointer for Grill. And now he leads all scorers at 28. McLean cut off. Only 7 to shoot. Williams is going to have to make something happen here. It's a long 3 from Williams. Long rebound into the hands of Mitchell.
Very good defensive possession from Missouri. Eastern Washington didn't have anything and couldn't attack. Gaps were shut off. Great on-ball pressure by Missouri, and the connectivity of these older, experienced players on the floor, knowing how to stop the ball and how to communicate defensively as a unit. All 5 guys locked in a stance and alert defensively.
Mitchell takes the baseline, draws a foul on Marquardt with 4 minutes to play in the ball game. Well, they might not know each other very well, but they know the name, know the game pretty well. And Missouri's veterans have led them to a 5-point lead. Mason Williams only played in 17 games a year ago as a freshman for Eastern Washington, but he is stepping up tonight.
Yeah, he's been excellent. He's got 17 points. He was 1 for 11 in the Colorado game, a couple games prior to the Mizzou game, but he has found his rhythm. He's getting to spots. He's making great use of the glass. He shot it so well. He's been excellent tonight, and especially in the second half.
That is keeping Eastern Washington in this game. They've gotten it down to a 2-point deficit a couple of times here late in the second half. Missouri by 5. Missouri built a 15-point lead late in the first half. But the Eagles are still very much in this game.
Yeah, they have not gone away. And really, you look at, too, down 12 at half. And it was a game where Missouri, really, the game was decided by the bench production. And really, you've seen Eastern Washington just get back to finding who they are offensively with their starting core. You got Cook with 24, Williams with 17, really have carried Eastern Washington in this game. They're getting some good production from their bench. Powell particularly with 9 points, 3 of 4, a couple of threes as well. So they're starting to get a little bit of that bench production that has kind of crept Eastern Washington back into this game.
Powell has 4 fouls. Might see them play a little offense-defense with him here in the final 4 minutes. As Missouri has really struggled at the line here in the second half. They're just 6 for 12 at the stripe. Caleb Grill flying in for the rebound and got fouled by Zonke.
It's so important in defensive rebounding that if you have a guy like Caleb Grill, you know he's going to find every way to get an angle around you. So you have to be physical and create contact. Caleb Grill does not give up on the play. That's why that foul is called. He just doesn't allow himself to get boxed out. And right there, he goes and uses his athleticism to go get the ball and gets pushed out of bounds. And he goes to the front. That's a huge play. We're at the under 4-minute, 5-point game. Extra possessions matter. Free throw shooting matters. But Caleb Grill, just a big-time play right there to get an offensive rebound.
By the way, 10 team fouls on Eastern Washington, so Missouri's in the double bonus the rest of the way. Mizzou only has 5 team fouls. So the free throw line is probably going to factor in big here in the final 4 minutes of this game. As Grill hits them both, he's got 30.
7 rebounds as well to lead Missouri on the glass. That is what you love to see. Caleb Grill rebound on the ball because that's what he does.
By the way, he's only needed 12 shots to do it. Zonke thought about it, brings it back out, picked up his dribble. He's in trouble now. McClain helps him out. Williams double team, open look for Hartman, and the rebound by Perkins.
That's going to be a play Dennis Gates shows on film a lot. The effort by Caleb Grill. That was a breakdown. There was a miscommunication defensively in switching, and Caleb Grill fixed the breakdown. He was everywhere right there and is able to close out last minute, even though it wasn't his guy, able to get out to a shooter and contest and force that missed shot.
It was a close game at the under 4 timeout Friday night against Howard. Missouri came out of that break with an 11-0 run. Bates in the middle. In and out. Rebound by Hartman. McClain running with Mason Williams. Under 3 minutes to go. Hartman looking for Cook. Missouri had him defended. 13 to shoot as Zonke puts it up. It's into the hands of Grill, who is now 2 rebounds away from a double-double.
Missouri's picked up the intensity defensively. So much movement by Eastern Washington, so much cutting and moving, and Missouri has been engaged and connected outside of 1 defensive possession. The previous time down, Missouri's been very good over the last 3 minutes.
Perkins hounded by Williams as Missouri tries to burn some clock. Mitchell on the drive. Jump hook rims out. There's something going on down here at this end.
Yeah, it's a good look. Tamar Bates had a look at the previous possession as well, just didn't fall. But two of your best scorers, best playmakers, trying to go get one here late.
McClain gets one for Eastern Washington, and a quick timeout by Dan Monson as it's back to a 5-point game with 2:08 to play.
It's a huge bucket right there by Eastern Washington to carve into this deficit, get it back to 5. But Missouri is going to kick themselves, not being able to finish on the offensive end. Great attack, underhand scoop by McClain, knowing that's the only way he's going to get that shot off. If he can't bring it back to his left hand, he has to go to the extended scoop, but you have to have soft touch off the glass to get that shot to fall, and he's able to convert.
Missouri has missed 9 free throws tonight. They did the same thing in the season opener against Memphis and lost by 8.
And you're talking about a team, too, that averages 76 points per game, so they're above their average, but they're leaving points at the charity stripe. You know, it's a turnover, really, at the free throw line when you miss free throws. It changes the game, and it's been part of the story here in the second half. Not converting free throws, not finishing little bunnies at the rim. And then Eastern Washington, give them credit. They've been very good offensively, moving the ball, making decisive decisions, cutting, and then obviously making shots and sharing the ball.
These Eastern Washington now out-rebounding Missouri 28-27. So it's a competitive game here as we approach the 2-minute mark. Missouri's led by as many as 15 if you're just joining us. But Eastern Washington has outscored Missouri 39-32 in the second half after trailing by 12 at the break.
Talk about the rebounding numbers too. I mean, Josh Gray 11 minutes, 2 rebounds. Aiden Shaw 12 minutes, 1 rebound. Even Mark Mitchell 29 minutes and just 3 rebounds. I mean, those are guys that you hope can rebound the basketball at a consistent level, but it's been Caleb Grill from Missouri to just be in the ballpark. -1 on the glass, but 8 rebounds right now for Caleb Grill.
He's one off his career high of 31 points. And Missouri might need him down the stretch here. Tigers bring Anthony Robinson back into the game. So it's Robinson, Perkins, Bates, Mitchell, and Grill who inbounds. Powell, Williams, Cook, McLean, and Horton for Eastern Washington. Robinson double teamed and foul call. Cook thought they had a steal.
Missouri's fortunate right there. Anthony Robinson was looking to split, lost the ball. There was contact, but bang bang call, but really good trap by Eastern Washington too. That was exactly how you draw it up. Out of a timeout, you're bringing some extended pressure. It's a zone, but then you trap that initial pass after you cross the midline. And you got Anthony Robinson right in the spot you do not want to be. Coaches always tell you, get off the sideline. Late in games, get off the sideline. That's where they want you to be. Be in the middle of the floor and try to beat the pressure with the pass. Don't try to over dribble. Beat it with quick passes, and obviously you got to have all 5 guys locked in terms of cutting and helping each other out to beat pressure.
This might be a free throw shooting contest down the stretch for Missouri. Robinson hits 2. He now has 8 points, all at the foul line.
I like this decision too by Dennis Gates to bring their own pressure as well, but you got to defend without fouling. Defend, be solid, slow the game up a little bit.
Missouri still has a foul to give before they put Eastern Washington on the line. Powell back in with his 4 fouls. Mason Williams for 3.
It's a beautiful play. What a call. And Mason Williams off a pin down on the weak side to beat the pressure. That's a perfect play call to get into a 3-point shot right there for Eastern Washington.
And a new career high for Mason Williams, 20 points. Missouri again bleeding clock here. Perkins. Missouri protecting a 4-point lead. Grill, unstoppable from the outside tonight.
What a shot. It's the same spot, and it's the same play. He's almost at the Tiger logo. When you're feeling it, you're feeling it. What a big shot by Caleb Grill. You got to be so happy for Caleb Grill on the night he's had tonight.
20 points for Williams, a new career high. This is how he did it to make it a 4-point game.
Hand down, man down. It's a simple phrase. Mark Jackson said Anthony Robinson's got to have his hand up. It's an easy 3-point shot, but this is a big-time shot, a big-time moment. Fading back, contested, deep shot. He's almost at the logo, and he hits his 8th 3 of the night. 8 of 10 from 3 for Caleb Grill tonight. What a night.
And a new career high 33 points, eclipsing the 31 he scored while playing at Iowa State a couple of years ago against North Carolina. And I feel like the difference for Grill, and we've said this going back to last season, I think 1 of his 8 threes is off the bounce. He is so much better in a catch-and-shoot 3-point rhythm.
And he's a movement shooter, too. He's got great footwork. I mean, he's everything you would want in a shooter in terms of right to left, left to right. He can go multiple directions, but his range, he's extender, and he makes 3-point contested shots. I know he's gone through slumps, and obviously the injuries are part of this, but when you see him at full health tonight, the glass, the defensive piece of this with the deflections, but the shooting has been the key for Missouri tonight, and you have to beat a zone. You got to have shooting on the floor. You want to shoot guys out of the zone. Missouri's zone offense has been stagnant, but Caleb Grill has carried them in this ballgame.
Missouri with a 7-point lead. And a whistle as Mason came into the front court. That goes against Perkins, so that's the 16 foul. So that was the foul to give Missouri had with 1:13 to go.
Yeah, it's a smart foul too, to take away. Just a straight drive. But now you know you're at 6. You got to lock in, be sound. Have to have elite communication and talk on the floor if you're Missouri. Eastern Washington has had some great calls here over the last few minutes to get open looks. Great offensive execution from Eastern Washington.
And look at this. Dennis Gates brings Marcus Allen in with his defensive reputation, even as a freshman. McClain the miss, Grill with his 9th rebound.
On cue. Shot goes up. Caleb Grill just goes and gets it. Long shots, long rebounds, but he was ready for that rebound.
Foul there with under a minute to go, and now Perkins will go to the line for Missouri.
Ben, how happy are you for Caleb Grill on a night like tonight where he has struggled to shoot the ball different times in a Missouri uniform? We know how good of a shooter he is. We know the impact that the coaching staff knows that Caleb Grill can put into this program. Obviously, new career high tonight, but getting back to who he is, shooting the basketball, playing with no pressure. He plays the game 100 miles an hour, but let the game slow down. He talked 13 shots for 33 points. It's a big time night.
33 points in 31 minutes. You know, they played an exhibition game here in this building against a Division II school, Lincoln University, a few weeks before the season started, and this is how Grill looked. It was in rhythm, catch and shoot threes. I think he had 6 threes in the exhibition game, and this was brewing for a little bit. And he explodes tonight.
And this is how he's looked in practice as well, which is another good sign. This has been what he does in practice this fall, shooting the basketball, and very similar in momentum shooting, in rhythm, trying to find space, trying to find relocations, and they want him to shoot the basketball. Very similar to Moy Hodge, when he can catch across the midline, have the green light.
Look at Missouri continue to press here, as you mentioned a couple possessions ago, up by 9 with under a minute to go.
It's important for Missouri. Be active. Do not foul. Be solid. Don't give up anything easy. Don't want to be in prevent mode. Still want to be aggressive without foul.
And Missouri with the steal. Grill with the ball in his hands.
And that's why you bring pressure, too.
Robinson looking to drive. Kicks it out to Perkins. 5 to shoot. Eastern Washington just playing this one out. And it's stolen away by Powell. A nice little finish there by Powell. Gets him into double figures. Doesn't look like Eastern Washington's going to foul. Missouri can just dribble this one out. What a night for Caleb Grill. Transfer from Iowa State, broken wrist last year, fought through a lot, and a career-high 33 points. What a way to get his second year in a Tiger uniform going.
And Ben, he came off the bench in order to do so. He set the tone right from the start and carried it through the entire game. Big-time shot making, but it's what he was on the glass and what he was defensively as why Missouri wins this game. Caleb Grill is a huge reason and a big part of why Missouri's 2-1 tonight.
Missouri's first back-to-back win since early December 2023. They are 2-1 on the season. Almost a double-double for Caleb Grill. He ends up with 9 rebounds. But again, you know, Jared, it's the efficiency. I mean, lots of times you look at a 33-point night from a streaky shooter. He wasn't streaky tonight. He scores 33 points on just 13 field goal attempts.
And never did I feel like there was a bad shot involved in the game tonight. And when you look at the tape, too, it's the shots that were contested. Not a lot of wide-open looks, a few, but a lot of those contested and deep, efficient, big-time shot-making from Caleb Grill tonight.
Group effort for Missouri. They had a bit of a slow start. They end up building the 12-point lead at the half and then pull away late as the Tigers win it 84-77. Missouri with their second straight win, and the outside shooting vastly improved from the other night in their win over Howard. And a big reason why that occurred is this gentleman joining us now, Caleb Grill. Caleb, 8 threes, a career high 33 points. How much you've done to battle back from the injury last year. How special is this for you tonight?
You know, more than anything, just getting a win, doing anything I can to help us out in the win column. I think just looking at the stats, I'm more excited about like the 9 rebounds that I had, because that's a way, you know, I can impact, and I haven't really been doing that the first couple games either. And, you know, I take more pride in, you know, doing more on the defensive end and rebounding. So I'm just happy that we ended up squeaking this one out. You know, shout out to Eastern Washington. They're a really good basketball team, and I bet they'll be in the NCAA tournament if they play like they did tonight.
Caleb, you talk about your shooting tonight. your footwork going into shooting and the extended range you made shots tonight. I know it has a lot to do with just your preparation and the shots that you work on when the cameras aren't on. Just talk about what that's looked like this off-season, especially coming back from the injury and being ready to go this year.
Yeah, I really worked a lot on my consistency and my jump shot, and not seeing it the first 2 games is really frustrating to me. So I had a conversation with Coach Gates, and he just told me that it's going to be a progress, that he kind of saw this happening, starting off slow. I haven't played a game in 11 months, and I never really thought about that. But then after we had that conversation, I just relaxed, and I came into practice after the Howard game, and I just got back to what I was doing and got back into my rhythm that I was used to being throughout practices leading up into the games.
Caleb, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on a huge night and a big win for your team.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
That's Caleb Grill, 33 points, a career high as Missouri defeats Eastern Washington 84-77. Second